Teruan Sarnai, may you have the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem for a happy evening, and those friends who join with us from Sri Lanka, may you have a very happy and prosperous morning with this wonderful meritorious powers we all share. It is January 14th, 2023, Saturday evening for us. We are going to begin this evening Sutta studies for the sake of our own well-being and happiness, and also to share the Dhamma with others. I really appreciate your participation because it is helping us, and also you get a lot of inspiration for your Dhamma practice. Whenever and wherever you involve with Dhamma sessions like this, you are going to think about the most important factors that you practice on everyday basis, and the kusala chitta you produce during the program is helping you some way or the other to deal with the negative emotion. So that we continue our sutta discussion with such purposes. And today, the sutta we discuss is the same sutta we took last week, and we are going to finish it. So to begin the sutta study, I just want to pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha, and you may join with me in reciting Namo Tassa 3 times, and I would explain them in Sinhala also in a form of recitation. Let us begin today's sutta discussion with the recitation of Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, the sutta we selected is Samanya Pala Sutta from the Digha Nikaya. It is the sutta number 2 of the Digha Nikaya, and the meaning of Samanya Pala Sutta is to explain the fruits of recluse life. The benefit of being a monk or a bhikkhuni is being talked in details in this particular sutta. We do not want to go in details of what we discussed last week, but as a summary, we can understand that the Buddha delivered this discourse to the king Ajatasattu. So we see that the king was not happy about his power and other things around him because of the fear he experienced. He didn't enjoy his power and energy around him. Sometimes he got upset so much, so that he was looking for solace by going from teachers to teachers at the time in his country. However, he was not happy. At some point of his searching happiness, he was able to know that the Buddha was close by, especially at the park. One of the ministers belonged called Jivaka. As you know, Jivaka is being talked a lot in the teaching because of his skill, because of his skill, the closeness to the Buddha with type of treatment. So that this Jivaka took the king to the Buddha. There we see a type of drama happens. The king was afraid of what is going on because of the utter silence in the park, because Jivaka told the king that there would be 1,250 monks were there, including the Buddha, but there was no pin drop silence, disturbance at the monastery, so that how this silence, if there are 1,250 monks, then the discussion goes on that the Buddha and all the monks stay like that because of their silent practice, and that is their nature. It's not a particular way of behavior for a certain period of time. It is the same. It is the natural flow of the bhikkhus and the Buddha as they experience the Dhamma into the highest extent. So then the king was explained certain important things about life, especially monastic life. We were able to discuss last week that the benefit of being a monk, it doesn't mean only female monk, even bhikkhuni order would be emphasized there. So being a renunciant gives a lot of benefits. So the king was convinced by the Buddha by way of giving examples and also some explanations to tell the king that being a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni is such, so that the king was really happy. So far, we have been discussed those things in the discourse. We took a lot of time to mention last week that the king's story, and the place where we stop is such as the Majjhima Sila and Mahasila. Being a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, you are respected highly by the king, the ministers, even any type of professional would respect you. But being a lay person, no matter how educated you are, you may not get that kind of respect in the society. So Buddha wanted to show the king that this results, mundane results of becoming a monk or nun is always there, and it is considered as a good thing in the sutta. So then we come to lesser moral principles, middle principle, and higher principles. There the Buddha showed that monks are away from various type of crafts and different type of things that people do for living. Sometimes the religious people at the time did that kind of things to survive, to make people aware that they are educated, but bhikkhus and bhikkhunis were totally away from those things, so that their sila, their moral principles are very directed them to experience samadhi. So after the sila aggregates in the discourse, we find that the Buddha talks about the very important section in the entire teaching, that is samadhi, and how one reach to samadhi based on sila. That is a very important part of the discourse. So we are going to focus that part on and also something after that. So let me look at the sutta now. So Indriya Sangvara, one of the results you expect being a monk or nun is is the sense restraint. In Abhinna Paccavekkitabba Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha requested monks and nuns to be different from lay people. Physically, you are different because you wear a robe and shave off your hair and beard, and that's the physical difference. That is not enough to become a very good monk. You should be different from attitudes and the way you think and what you say, and all the other behaviors should be different from lay people. It doesn't mean that lay people, the way they talk, the way they behavior are really negative. They must be in the same noble eightfold path. But as a monk, you should always be a very prominent person in the Vinaya rules, as well. When the Vinaya rules are done in such a way, the Dhamma you practice would be easier for you. So that Anyome akapo karaniyoti, we should keep in mind always that I am a different person with regard to the lay practices and lay behavior and so forth. So Indriya Sangvara, with regard to Indriya Sangvara, sense restraint, we should be able to guard our mind through seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. So right after the sila, in Pali itself, Chula Sila, Majjhima Sila, Mahasila, they are covered, by them, every single physical, verbal behavior are touched upon, and then as a result of developing that sila, you practice sense restraint. So, Chakuna Rupan Diswa Nimittaggai Yotinanubhyajanakkai. When there are certain things that enter into your mind through seeing and disturb your mind at the same time, in the means of sensual pleasures, ill will, sleepiness, drowsiness, restlessness, and worry, you're going to stop those seeing. The very act of seeing should be stopped. Sometimes people say that it's okay for you to see anything, and it is the thing how you deal with them with your mind. But friends, practically, when we see certain things, we are not in a position to stop our mind. If you do not have that higher wisdom to reflect the negativities of those asadadino and so forth, you are going to attach to those things that you see. So that for bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, the prohibition is always there for seeing certain things. So, so that Indriya Sangvara with regard to monks is little different from the lay people, because you happen to go to different occasions where the sensual pleasures could trigger out, but monks should not, because of the higher training like Patimokka, they should practice. So Indriya Sangvara, therefore the monks and nuns, practice would be little different, and the perfect way of behavior is expected. It is not difficult when you complete the Chula Sila, Majjhima Sila, and Mahasila. In the Sila section, in the Samanyapala Sutta, we talks about each and every single behavior, including major rules. So that if you are a skillful bhikkhu or bhikkhuni with the Sila section, it would not be that difficult for you to have sense restraint. So I'm going to get the Sutta passage about it. I just want to read it because this is the beginning of the training. No matter who you are, what titles you have, like Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika, we all should understand this very clearly, since it is the beginning of the noble training. This is how the Buddha said it. It's still not there. Yeah. How Maharaja does a monk guard the sense doors? Here, the king, when a monk sees a form with the eye, he grasps neither its sign nor its detail. So we see things when you go on Pindapata or to a sermon or to a certain matter in the village, you might come across different things on the way. But you should be able to stop your mind wandering on what you see. That's what it means. Nanubhyanjanagahi, and so nanimittagahi nanubhyanjanagahi. You don't go to details of it. Our mind usually goes on details such where this person came from. Have I seen this person before? The color he wears is red, and so our mind might go to different details naturally. But since you practice sense restraint, you intentionally stop that nature of your mind. That is the sense restraint. I think we do not pay attention to this particular training very much, because we always talk about mindfulness training, samadhi practice, and practice meditation for wisdom development and so forth. But friends, before practice jhana, practice vipassana, we would be able to have this sense restraint very much, so that the things you do in the meditation would be easier. So how do we do this? We should keep in mind that I do not think about the details of what I see, whether it is negative or positive, because it's a practice. Why do we do this? Because we expect kind of limitation of the mind. Limitedness of wandering of mind is expected with this, and it becomes a very good training for concentration meditation or karmasthana meditation. If you think and stop your mind wandering on seeing, the benefit goes to you when you meditate. You could be able to stay with the meditation subject as much as you want, because the training is there for you to stay away from details, so that you focus the body in the meditation and you do not go to details of the body, like this body is mine and I should cover it with this clothes, and how about if I go to that party with this clothes, and so on. So you are not going to do that kind of wandering mind if you train Indriya Sangara with regard to eye. Likewise, the Indriya Sangara with regard to ear, nose, tongue, and the body. There should be some very important practices if we pay attention to them. So any bad thing could come to our mind is going to stop completely by this training. That's why Indriya Sangvara is coming at the very beginning of the noble training. This is confirmed in the Salayatana Sangyutta of the Sangyutta Nikaya with some beautiful teaching. So if you have time, go and read them. And that again shows how important this practice. So after the Indriya Sangvara, the very thing we look into is Sati Sampajanya. So you are mindful about seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. Then you are working on clear comprehension, mindfulness, and clear comprehension. It is the sati as well as type of wisdom coming together to act accordingly. So as long as you practice Indriya Sangvara, the Sati Sampajanya would be very active and very successfully working on your training, and you feel something different from your mind. I'm going to read what the Buddha said to King Ajatasattu here. How is a monk possessed of mindfulness and clear comprehension? This is how the Buddha said. The person who practice clear comprehension here as a bhikkhu, he clearly comprehends what he's doing. When he walks, he's aware of his walking. When he sit down, he knows what he is doing. And when he eats, drink water, he knows what he's doing. I want to add something here, that sometimes people know of their activity when they started it and after a couple of seconds. That is because of lack of clear comprehension. But if you practice it very clearly, as the Buddha said, you think about the very mindfulness on the action before you do the action. In other words, action is being done after you think about it and you know what you think about the action. So the clear comprehension is total mindful. Now, suppose there is a physical demonstration of some works, but clear comprehension and sati sampajanya means how you are aware of what you are doing, starting well before you do that action. So that is called clear comprehension. If you look at the section Sati Sampajanya in Samanyapala Sutta, it covers all kinds of activities that a monk and a nun does usually in the monastic setting. From the moment he or she wakes up to the last moment of the day, everything is covered. And when we come to lay life, your life, you can apply many of those things without any problem if you are such a super practitioner. However, it is difficult for lay people to do everything monk should do, because that it's two vehicles, it's two different things. Your life is busy, and it is clearly mentioned in the discourse as well. Sambodayang garavaso rajasayitanang iti. The lay life is with full of dust, which means defilement. Garava, so therefore living at a house with family members would be tough, so that a lot of unwholesomeness might arise due to the various things you experience. But abbokaso pabbajja, the monk life is like the sky without cloud. Even with cloud, the sky is free from disturbances, and when you walk in the on the field, you might hit on rocks and bushes and trees, and you might fall down due to the uneven ground. But when you are in the sky, there is no such thing. So in that way too, we can understand the monk's life is wonderful. But don't understand this with particular monks you see on everyday basis in media and so forth, but understand the fact that perfect monk's life is such so that you would be able to see the difference. So therefore they are mindful and also wise, intelligent about what they do. So clear comprehension is the next benefit of monk's life. Having understood the way the monks should live, what exactly we can do for the moment is to build up that shraddha on community of monks and nuns, and also lay people who practice this kind of training people. And that would be your training now about this particular section, mindfulness and clear comprehension. Next is contentment. In Pali it is said santosa. Actually the Pali word and singular word would be different. I would like to read the Pali one. Santutto hoti. Katancha bhikkhu santutto hoti. How could we become contented on our life? As a monk, I should be able to be happy with the way I use robes. With the word umbrella term robe, it means all kinds of clothes. Whatever clothes I use, it should be for protecting my body from heat and cold and different dangerous thing that could harm this body. So the purpose of cloth is such so that you are using for it by knowing the very meaning. It is been practiced in the monastery training always. However, practically our mind goes to different things. For example, if I go on Pindapata, I'm not mindful about the robe always. I'm not thinking like I am wearing a robe. I should be mindful about the way the robes, attached to my body always. But there are particular moments you become mindful about the robe when you wear it. Like for example, when you are in the kuti, you keep the robe away from your body because of certain tasks you do in the kuti, and then when you want to go out, when you take the robe into and wear it, or you're mindful about this robe is wearing and I'm wearing it, and like that. So likewise, we must be mindful about the robe and become happy. The quality of robe you might get would be not that good. So anyway, if it is good enough for you to cover your body, you must be happy. Suppose you see a lot of very valuable robes are in the store in the monastery, and however you are using simple things, and still while you see those valuable things, you think that this robe is good enough for me because the purpose is done with this. Likewise, friends, the monk should be able to think about wisely that the food I take is only for survival. When you say that it is for survival, you should survive without problem in order for you to practice Dhamma, so that you should find the quantity should be okay, because if you eat less, you're going to experience some sort of physical problems, and that could prevent you meditating well. So that you should eat enough, but what you eat enough is for practicing Dhamma, living peacefully. And that's why the Buddha added this particular factor to the Vinaya rule at the very beginning. If you read the Sabbapapa Sakaranang, there are two stanzas there. Bodhinang hita mattanyung. We should be able to find the very meaning of the food, not only material food and also immaterial food. So likewise, we should be able to be happy with the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and then the shelter we live in, and then the medicine we take. So these four requisites should be for the purpose of enriching your monastic life and nothing else. So that's the practice of santutto. Itaritarena pindapatena, itaritarena chivarena, and so forth. How could we apply this to lay life? You can be happy whatever you have now. Maybe you are over 50 or 60 or close to 70, maybe around over 70. When you were very young, what you had was the house. Maybe your parents had a lot of things that you have now. So even after 50, 60 years, you have the same thing. You eat, you wear clothes, you ride different vehicles, and you have houses, and you have people around. And so if you understand that certain things are quite adequate for me to live peacefully, that's all. The purpose is again done for you. It is not the amount we eat, it is not the amount or the number of clothes we use, it is the very intention for what you use. One day, one of my friends told me that one day I have a closet full of shirts and other things that always wear. What should I do with them if I practice santutto? I mean, using those things for just only for the purpose. Then my answer was that if you can survive with only couple of uniforms like shirts and other things, just do it. I cannot give a clear answer for that, because you should be able to know where you go and what you do on everyday basis, so that to make your jobs easy, you need to have certain number of uniforms. However, no matter how much you have, why do you use it? That's the very important question you should ask. You are not wearing it for sensual pleasures. You are not wearing it for showing yourself to other people. You are wearing it for pleasant attitudes, because when you wear nicely and clean, people like you and people might listen to you. And if suppose you speak the Dhamma and you are a very nice influential person for others, so your wearing clothes would be a matter for them, for them to follow you. So the Buddha did not ask people to wear nice things. He never criticized Visakha and other ladies at the time for wearing garlands and using perfume. He didn't say anything like that. He said that this is not for monks and nuns, but for lay people, it's okay. But if you come to Dhamma, why do you use them? There you find the limitation of anything you use. So that's what I wanted to add to that. If we really turn them into lay life, so you can practice them in lay life, but the way you do it would be different, not like monks. The next section is Nivarana. So the benefit of becoming a monk is not only for using mundane things in a proper way. It goes even to the closer to the supramundane path. So now I just want to add here that the king Ajatasattu never listened to this kind of teachings or benefits from the other 6 teachers. Now he would be he is a wise person. He could understand many things despite his demerits. So that now he understand, in my view, now he understand how wonderful this Buddha and his teaching compared to the other 6 teachers, because gradually he understand a person called Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni, and they started the moral principles from the minor things to the middle strength principles, and then the greater principles. Now, having completed, they practice sense restraint, and then sati sampajanya, and being able to happy with whatever they use, so that now the king confirm himself that this is wonderful. This is why those monks 1250 something were in silence when he came in. It is because of their practice and also what they practice. So so that now the king is very clear that this is not going to not going to end by this point, but it is something beyond that. And that's why the Buddha told the king about Nivarana. We all know what Nivarana is. Hindrances. Whatever disturb the arising of samadhi and panya and related things is called Nivarana. Panyaya dubbalikarane dhamme in Pali. It is said whatever weaken the rising of wisdom, existing of wisdom is called Nivarana. So when Nivarana exists in our mind, there is no place for something great. Nivarana control us so that all kinds of negative things might arise as the support from hindrances is always there in the mind. So in the discourse, if you read the discourse, you see how the Buddha explained Nivarana. It's a beautiful way. He gave us some similes. As you know, Pancha Nivarana are covetousness or sensual pleasures, ill will or anger, then sloth and torpor, and then restlessness and worry and doubt. These are the 5 hindrances. Parable for the 5 hindrances are very important there. Suppose a man taking a loan, invest in his business. Now his business succeed. So he later repays his old debts, and there is a surplus for supporting his family. It would occur to him like this: before taking a loan, I invested in my business. Now my business is done successfully. I already paid the debt and my family is supported. So he's so joyful now because he didn't have money before, but he got it from somebody, and now he earned a lot of money than he got. So that his happiness is so much so that he has no problem in the future. So when you have hindrances, it is like it's likened to the state of that particular person before he got the money and experience utter suffering. And also when he got the money from somebody, until he pays the loan completely, his mind is worrying about it. If something happened to me, my family should pay this either by selling their property or ornaments. So he is not so happy until he pays the last penny of the loan. So when you have, spiritually speaking, when you have hindrances, you are like that person who takes the loan. But when you invested it well and financial management is done 100%, and you get a lot of income, a lot of profit from it, so that you not only pay your debts, you also support your family, earn some money and save them for the development of the wisdom. So now you're happy. So when you let go of hindrances, you feel certain way of happiness like that. And there are other 4 similes here. I would tell them in a simple word. Suppose you are sick. When you are sick, you don't feel to eat, you don't feel sleeping well, you don't feel you concentrate well, nothing happen at all according to our wish. When you have hindrances, you feel the same way. No rest at all, physically or mentally. How about if you take medicine and stay relaxed and whatever the doctor asks you to do, and you do it and recovered soon. So now you are happy because you felt the pain with the sickness. Now you remember how painful it is. Now you have something great. So when you let go of hindrances, it's like you recover from physical illness. Then we have other similes, parable. One is that you are in the prison. When you are in the prison, you are limited with everything a human should do. With hindrances, spiritually, you are imprisoned. You are imprisoned so that you cannot do any mental development with the hindrances. But when that particular person is released from the prison, you are free to do whatever you should do. So with regard to hindrances, you are not doing anything spiritually, but when you let go of hindrances, you are just like that free man from the prison. Then the slave, parable of the slave. A slave is a person who is limited to do anything according to his or her wish. They are subject to particular tasks at home or at the place they live, and their freedom is limited. But after he or she got freedom from that particular state, he is likened to the other people in the society, can go to school, can go to work, make children, make the family, and he is free to do. So that particular man compared his previous life, I mean, the life with slavery and also the life without slavery, and he's overjoyed now. So with hindrances, you are just like a slave. You enslaved to hindrances. So the other simile we have is, suppose you are going to a distant place through a desert or place where a lot of robbers and theft happen with some gold and valuable things in your possession. You are doubtful about what is going to happen to you because you are crossing through a very dangerous area with all kinds of problems. As soon as you cross that area and go to a safer place, you feel relaxed. With hindrances, you are like that danger, but when you overcome hindrances, you are a free man, you are out of danger. So giving these similes, what exactly Buddha wanted to tell the King Ajatasattu, you are having now hindrances and try to let them go off from your mind. And for being a bhikkhu and bhikkhuni, they can easily do it if they follow the previous points of monk's life, like 3 types of sila and sense restraint and sati sampajanya, and being happy with whatever he possesses, so that it would be easier for you to sit and meditate, sit and actually overcome hindrances. Today, many people like to do this, and that's why they come to Sila program, weekly meditation program, everyday morning meditation, and so forth. You know what I'm going to say. Sometimes your meditation, our meditation doesn't work. Why? Because the way we live previously would be not that supportive for letting go of hindrances. In other words, we meditate 1 hour for every 15 hours or 20 hours. And during that 19 hours, what we have been doing is something against Indriya Samvara, Sati Sampajanya, and so forth. They are very normal. Watch TV and go to market and talk to people and watch the world news and understand all the problems. Sometimes we talk to relatives back in Sri Lanka, back in Canada, US, and we talk about planning for dinner and a weekend event. So we might be talking something disturbing about our mental peace. It's very difficult. That's why Sambodhaya Angaravasu, Buddha said that lay life is full of dust. Monk's life is not that different in today's world because they have a lot to cover as a part of their duty, such as various things. But we would be skillful to do them at the same time, protect our mind from those things. At some point, we would be able to let go of hindrances. So, so that the 19 hours you spend without meditation would be more inclining into rising of hindrances, so that 1 hour you meditate may be struggling for you. You are not doing well because previous way things you do before meditation was not supportive for meditation. So be careful. Whatever you choose to do before meditation should be helping your meditation. That's why I'm asking people to come to temple for meditation without playing the radio in the car, without listening to music. Whenever you get ready for going to temple for meditation or any puja, just calm down your mind. Meditation start not at the kusana of the temple, but at the time you get ready to come to temple, so that you try to be mindful each and every activity at home, even changing your clothes and getting into the car and drinking water in the car and drives safely, mindfully, so that when you enter into the temple, try your best to be away from unnecessary talking, unnecessary, unrelated talking. Even if your friends come and start chatting, try your best to be away from, based on compassion, so that what you do on the cushion would be very profitable. So today's meditation is very popular among different types of people, but I know that it is not that successful for many people because of this practical issue. So here, when you overcome 5 hindrances, what you have now is wonderful, very pleasant abiding here right now. That is called for jhanas. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. As soon as you feel that you overcome hindrances, your mind is still, that means you are in the first jhana. There your mind is so gorgeous about what you are doing. It is a kind of crossing over the mundane average lifestyles to a very safe, spiritual advanced mental state. According to the Buddha, it is the temporary defeat of Mara. Mara is unable to stop the one who reached to jhana and sustain there, because he is not going to see the Mara. I would be talking about that particular Mara in the divine world. He is unable to disturb that particular person who is in jhana, because jhana mind is so powerful. So Buddha gave us very nice similes with the jhana. Let me read the first one for your understanding. As you know, the first one is quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome mental state. He attains and dwells in the first jhana, accompanied by initial and sustained, thoughts or application. Vitaka vichara is there. That's mean kind of talking your mind about what you experience. That talking is not about something harmful, craving, greed, or what, but your mind is talking about piti, sukha, ekagata, 3 things over there in the first jhana. It is likened to a particular person who went to the bathtub and apply bath powder or foam in his whole body, and there is no place in the body that is not touched by the shower gel or the soap. So it means to us that when you attain to first jhana, your whole body from top of the head to the toes, around and across, is relaxed. It's so gorgeous. You don't find any unpleasant feeling at all in your body with the first jhana. That's it. That is what the Buddha mean here. And when you go to the second jhana, it is likened to the pond or the well. That is, the water is coming from that pond or the well is not from any direction. We see that a lot of huge reservoirs collected water from different channels around it, but this water is coming from the earth, so that the water is so nice and clean and cool. So when you go to the second jhana, the samadhi factor is highly developed. Samadhijang piti sukham dutiya jhanang upasampajya viharati. In the first jhana, vivekajang piti sukham. Just because you are away from hindrances, you have that unification of the mind. But when you are in the second jhana, stillness of applied and sustained thought happen. Vitaka vichara are not there in the second jhana, so that your samadhi is so strong there. That's why the Buddha compared the second jhana into the pond or the well, that water come from the bottom of the well, not from any direction. So then the third jhana is being talked a lot in the monastic training, especially those mendicants who practice jhana, because it is the very safest place to experience equanimity. Actually, a rising of equanimity is always there, and a lot of monks and nuns and lay people enter into the third jhana just to experience the power of jhana. And it is also likened to the lotus font of the blue lotus, a font of with white lotus, and font of red lotus. So all kinds of lotus are there. It means to us that in the third jhana, you are having such a wonderful experience. We quickly go to the fourth jhana also. And when you are in the fourth jhana, you have been having everything you need. I'm not going to details of it, but simply your mind is bright. You have no pleasant, unpleasant physical and mental experiences at all there. Sukha sajapahana, dukkha sajapahana, pubbeva somanasa, dukkha domanasana, attanga. These are the Pali terms Buddha use. It means that no pain, no pleasure, previously pleasure and pain have been gone, and even now you don't have pleasure and pain, so that you are in a perfect samadhi, perfect mindfulness is always there, and also equanimity. The upekka is being highly developed. So these are fruits of monk's life. The Buddha said to the king Ajatasattu. I think King Ajatasattu knows about the power of them into a certain extent. When Venerable Devadatta did some miracles, in the stories, it is said that Venerable Devadatta, made the friendship with King Ajatasattu by doing some miracles, so that the king would be able to understand what these jhanas into a certain extent, because based on jhana, anybody can develop those higher skills. So Venerable Devadatta did that despite his evilness towards the Buddha. Then Buddha is going to talk about the supramundane experiences. So far we talk about the mundane experience. Even the jhana is in a state of a state between two. Sometimes it's called laukika jhana. Then we can talk about lokutra jhana, supramundane jhana, and mundane jhana. Let's think that these mundane jhana, and therefore now Buddha talks about the supramundane results of monk's life. As you know, it's with the concentrated mind, you cannot get into supramundane experiences without samadhi. So with the fourth jhana, with the third jhana, with the second jhana, first jhana, there are avenues to supramundane experience. Attakanagara Sutta tells us how one can get into those mental states, so that you are going to get Yathabhuta Jnana Dasana. The Pali term are always rich. After the first jhana, you are entering into Vipassana practice. It means you practice all kinds of knowledges. First thing you do there is you consider your body as a combination of four elements. The body is survived with food, water, heat, and air. Therefore, this body is nothing but the four great elements. And this is me and myself. Starting the Vipassana meditation with this analysis, it goes further according to the Sutta. As a result of this way of thinking about one's body, he is going to experience the samadhi, strong samadhi. you can get first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana without that much wisdom. But when you do vipassana, that concentration you achieved before would be more stronger, solid, and very strong foundation for further going on the noble training. So with this physical analysis with 4 great elements, you are having a kind of momentum to develop manome jnana. As I told you that from here, with this practice, you can go further into those supernormal powers. Knowledge of the mind-made body, manome jnana. From your mind, you create the similar physical body next to you, just like Venerable Chulla Pantaka did. Unfortunately, we have no clear details of how we are going to do them in today's world, because throughout centuries, the knowledge about it is limited to some statements in the suttas and other books. But I feel that those monasteries in different countries in Asia had skillful monks and nuns who practiced those supernormal powers due to political, economic, and reasons and colonial period, things. The knowledge was not transferred to the next generation, so that we lost a lot of the practical teaching about them. Therefore, it would not be that easy to find those tips of gaining supernormal powers. But practicing jhana is possible. Practicing the Noble Eightfold Path would be very, practical and possible, because it is they are explained in clear terms and passages and so forth. But doing such important extracurricular things in the noble training would be that difficult, because no knowledge passed through generation. So the knowledge is being developed here to make different bodies by using the mind power. That's called manome jnana, mind-made body. So that is also one result of recluseship, samanya pala. There, the explanation is always there. You may read them in details. You are one person, and in a split second, you can create similar physical bodies to your physical body, and then you can show the other people that you swallow a sword or whatever dangerous weapon, and you can also create snake and lotus flowers, fire, and things like that. So you can create elephants. In the sutta, it is said here as well as in other discourses that you can create a lot of natural things as it is, so that you are like a magician. But they are not doing magic to make people amazed about it, but they do. If they do it for a purpose. Then we have other 6 types of super knowledges. First one is iddivida. So you can do miracles. You can walk on the water just like you walk on the floor. I think when we say these kind of things, people don't pay attention too much to them, because they are not in their possible list, and they tend to think that they are not true. These records are just because monks recorded them in the books. Otherwise, they are not really happening. Friends, a lot of things that the Buddha did and the Arahants did could not be thought about today for us, because our way of living in this modern world is so materialistic, so that we may not be reaching to even a certain level of moral principles like the Buddha and Arahants did. It's very difficult. So how could we then think about those things as real or not? We tend to think that only things we observe through senses are true and nothing else. That's why a lot of people reject the idea of existence of divine world and previous life and this life after death and hell and so forth. Because through your senses, through your normal perception, you cannot see them. So you have to develop your mind into this kind of knowledges, then you would be able to know them. Personally, I trusted the Buddha said what he experienced, and all these knowledges were in his pocket. And even Arahants, here in the Samanyapula Sutta, the Buddha talks about what monks achieve in their life. So these knowledges were some sort of treasures of those monks at the time of the Buddha. Even later period in Sri Lanka and other countries, monks attain and bhikkhunis attain to these special knowledges. So Iddhivida, then the other thing is divine ear. There is another one called divine eye. Divine eye is much more widespread than divine ear. In the divine ear, you can hear the voice from different places. Suppose how do we do that? That's an interesting question. Suppose you want to listen to your brother in Sri Lanka. Suppose he is in the Anuradhapura or Kandy. Now he is there. Now you being in Canada, you want to hear what he says now. How do you do that? This is how you should do it according to the available teaching. You focus your brother, the picture of your brother come to your mind. Now with that in mind, you understand that your brother is in Anuradhapura near Bodhi tree. So you have been there to Anuradhapura, the Bodhi tree, you know physical body of your brother, and you put your brother near the Bodhi tree in the second phase of the Bodhi tree. So now, your mind has been directed to particular information in the mind, so that now your brother is talking to somebody about the flower, about the weather. Now you can listen to it. Your mind has been trained to it for the cultivation of Dibba Sota, so that you could listen to. That's how the Buddha and any other such people listen to the sound that are not able to listen to by normal average people. So first you send for these mental skills to the particular direction. For example, Sri Lanka is long way from here, and you know the place he was. At least you should have some data to think about it. Then only you can listen to. That is one way I know, and if I know any other way, I would share with you. The other thing is mind reading, Cheto Paryayana. In that, you can read others' mind. Suppose your family members are angry at you or at somebody. So you are going to know the angry mind, even if that person who is angry is smiling, because that person is hiding his anger, but you are going to know that he is angry because you have that skill. And suppose whoever is pointed to you, and you are going to know about the mentalities he or she has with this skill. That is called Cheto Paryayana. Then the next one is knowledge of the recollection of past life. Ubbe Nivasa Anusati. Jana, you are going to know about your previous life, after previous life, after that life, and you can go to 1,000, 10,000, and any 1,000 slowly, quickly, so that you are going to know the details of each life. which is wonderful because you can see how you came from so far in the samsara and what made what amendments you could do to make your life further happy and towards nirvana. So actually, when you have upenivana nivasanusati, you are knocking the door of full enlightenment, just like the Buddha and other arahants did. And then we go to the other knowledge. It is called the knowledge of the karmic progress of other beings, divine eye. This is very widespread. Divine eye. When you have divine eye, you are going to know. It is also called Chutupapata Jnana, divine eye and Chutupapata Jnana, being able to know others' life is same. So here you know about the karma of those beings, not like the Buddha, but into a certain extent. So that is the knowledge prior to the very important knowledge. The very important one is accomplishment of wisdom is happening with the asavakya jnana, the knowledge of the destruction of influxes or asava or tapes. So that is happening at the end, and the completion of the noble training is confirmed with this asavakya jnana. So if you go to the end of the discourse with the asavakya jnana, you complete the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So it is also a result of monk's life, and then there is nothing more you to be done when you attain to asavakya jnana. So now the Buddha concluded the sermon. These are the benefits of being a monk and nun. If you follow the training principles exactly as they are, you would be reaching to a very peaceful state of mind, particularly called jhanic experiences. With jhana, you are going to experience knowledges. So now you are reaching to supramundane experiences with those knowledges, and at some point you complete your training with the full enlightenment. These are the benefits of being a monk and nun. The king never heard these things from different teachers he went before. So that now king confirmed himself that he had done a lot of bad things, including killing his own father. It's too late for him now, according to the sermon. However, he is so happy that he came to know about all these wonderful things that human can do. So at the end of the discourse, it is said that when this was said, the Raja Ajatasattu Videhaputta of Magadha said this to the Blessed One: excellent Bhante, just as if Bhante, turn something upside down to the proper way so that we can see it. In numerous ways, King Ajatasattu explained the beauty of the Buddha's teaching and the Buddha himself, Buddha also, so that he confessed there. Friends, confession is always important for us. We also do that with Kayena Vacha Chittena. And when you come to monastic training, you have a particular confession way. Being in front of a senior monk or a junior monk, you have to tell everything you did, particularly if you did something wrong. So the confession is everywhere. Here the Ajatasattu's confession is coming at the end of the discourse. Bhante, I have transgressed, just as one foolish, as one confused, as unskillful, as to kill my own father, a righteous man, a righteous Raja, for the sake of the throne. So the King Ajatasattu told the Buddha that I did this because of the throne, and I know that it is a very dangerous, unskillful deed. Bhante, please accept the fact that I feel bad about it. It is not saying that the Buddha could turn his bad karma, but acknowledge that I did this wrong. Now I understand the severity of what I did. So that's what the king asked Buddha to accept. So hereafter, I try my best to be a very good person with sense restraint and other principles. And from now, I never do any bad thing. So isn't it a very release from a lot of burdens of present akusala? Because the king himself vowed in front of the Buddha that I don't do something negative again. It is the turning point of King Ajatasattu into the supreme bliss. We see that conversation going on, and the king Ajatasattu departed from the Buddha by saying that, and according to what we all know, the king Ajatasattu then did a lot of good karma, including the patronage, being the patronage for the first Sangha Council. He helped the Venerable Ananda and Mahakassapa to organize the first Sangha Council. The merit is so much so that he is going to, benefit from those meritorious powers in the future. Anyway, according to the karmic theory, it is said that this Ajatasattu reborn in hell. However, just like Venerable Devadatta would come out of hell after long period of time and become a silent Buddha, King Ajatasattu was also is also going to be like a noble person. So that is Samanyapala Sutta. It's too long, as you know. Sutta in Digha Nikaya are too long. We cannot read each word of the discourse. Anyway, even if you go to do the summarized version, it takes time. Anyway, just understand that Samanyapala Sutta of the Digha Nikaya talks about the particular monk life, and if you have any problem of understanding different monks, and the monks in the media know, just go to this discourse and tell people that this is what monks this is how monks are, and no, you can apply certain teachings of it for your benefits. So that's all I wanted to share with you, with considering the time constraint. However, we can spend few minutes if you have questions and concern about the Samanyapala Sutta. It seems that you don't have anything. When you read a discourse or listen to the Dhamma, it happens naturally that we understand the Sutta or Dhamma facts from our perception. It's okay, but at some point, have you checked your mind that I understand this particular sutta from my point of view, and have you tried to let go of your point of view and keep the facts in a neutral way? You cannot do it with anybody else. You can do it yourself. So deviate your perception from the sutta factors and try to see your interpretation. Just like you go to the mirror and now you reflect yourself and you understand there that I practically stand here. That is my reflection in the mirror. The reflection of the body is in the mirror. So when you see yourself, when you see the image of the mirror and you see yourself. I have checked this many times in my life, and it works well for practicing Vipassana. Likewise, when you read the discourse, understand that it is the person called I from mundane sense. Read this discourse, and this particular mundane called I is going to talk about it, is going to think about it. This kind of questioning and looking for yourself helps you differentiate your perception from what you have outside. It helps you understand the impermanence in a subtle form, because at the end, impermanence should be focused on the 5 aggregates. Sometimes people think that for falling snow and melting them down and turning leaves into gray and yellow and red and falling them down are called impermanence. It is also impermanent, but the Buddha did not come to tell that kind of things to people, the living being. He came to this world and enrich his mind by looking at his mind. His mind means nothing but the 5 aggregates. So seeing the impermanence of the perception, feeling would be the places where we should focus in Vipassana. So cutting the road into Vipassana meditation could easily happen when you question yourself, differentiate your perception, you and things around you always. It could be done out of the cushion always. So since you don't have anything to say, I am just going to end today's Sutta discussion. We were able to spend 2 weeks for the discussion of Samanya Pala Sutta. There we came to know some stories that that are important for us between the Buddha and the King Ajatasattu. Very important things other than this is understanding Jana, understanding how one gradually grows in the noble training, starting from Sila, and then remember those parables and similes given to 5 hindrances as Jana. They are very important. And then we didn't cover how we develop those supernormal powers and other things, but they are to develop gradually with so much hard work, and these are all results of Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni lives. So you can, as lay people, experience them also, because we see Nandamata and Dhammika Upasaka, Chitta Grihapati, all these people, lay people, experience some sort of knowledges like this, and it is possible for you, and it's open for you as well. So having said that, I'm going to end today's Sutta discussion. Thank you for coming and participating in such a way so that we had the opportunity to share the Dhamma in the Samanya Pala Sutta. By the power of these merits, may we all be well, happy and peaceful. May you be able to cultivate your minds on Sila, Samadhi and Panya to reach the maturity of spiritual practice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.